peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Today in Africa, we see a lot of uprisings, planning for uprisings, plotting for uprisings in several African countries. The events on the African continent, therefore, as predicted much earlier myself, in 2017, I said, before 2020, 13 African countries would have undergone either soft regime change, soft coups, or violent regime change through uprising, which now seem to be real. The signs that and symbols that we see are the real symbols and the signs that more is to come against African governments. What do we do then? There is a new method of changing governments strategically placed in the United States of America by George Soros. George Soros funds civil societies, civil disobedience, civil violence in Africa. It is upon you Africans and African heads of state, wherever you were, as you convene, as you plan to convene next month or before the end of this month in Addis Ababa, to understand the magnitude of this regime change strategy. Many wars are taking place, internal strife, conflicts like the one in Cameroon, Amazonia, like the one in Biafra, Boko Haram, and then in Biafra, like the one in Libya. But the theme is the same. Regime change, uprising? Is it a matter of taking over our resources? You see, the war in Congo has erupted again. Unknown militias have arrived in Congo, restarted the war, and it is going on. All these culminate to one thing. Are we ready to be independent? As I said last week, this week, are people in Africa ready to accept the results of elections? Elections everywhere in Africa are bringing the chaos we see. The people of Africa seem to be divided after elections or before elections. Is Africa ready for elections? Do we need elections in Africa? If so, are we tolerant enough to accept the results? Are we ready? Which method can we use in Africa to make sure that there is hope for the countries and there is hope and the future of Africa is guaranteed? Viewers, the High Court in Malawi today or yesterday was hearing a case when the president had already been sworn in. If the president of Malawi has been sworn in, then the High Court is hearing the case. Is that not a disaster, an accident in waiting? Whether this will make us have a peaceful Africa remains to be seen. And may God help us to build a better Africa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, listeners, viewers, all over the whole world, wherever you are, in Democratic Republic of Congo, in Africa, in Addis Ababa, in Cairo, in Accra, in Abuja, in Kigali, in Kampala, in Banjul, Khartoum, Asmara. Wherever you are in the world, thank you very much for watching this program, My Opinion. And this time I've chosen a country that I would like to discuss the obstacles, the challenges that this country faces. The challenges that this country has gone through since independence. The challenges that have hindered progress in this country called Democratic Republic of Congo. The challenges, the obstacles, the suggestions, which way forward DRC Congo. Whichever way you want to fall, there is always a question to ask. Why? Why is it so difficult for DRC Congo to mobilize its resources to get its people out of poverty? The poverty, the degree of poverty that we see in DRC Congo destroys Africa, destroys the morale of Africa. The degree of sickness, the gap between the poor and the rich are richer in DRC Congo. The leadership is richer. The people are poorer. Everything that goes wrong in Africa is attributed and is sent to DRC Congo. We seem to have forgotten that this is a country that would have been a sign of Africa, a sign of development, a sign of issues that can be an example for Africa. Democratic Republic of Congo is a country that has a lot of contradictions. It's a country that has resources, minerals, a country with plenty of forest, a country endowed by the green cover, the biggest and one of the best eco climate regions in the world, with rivers, with green cover, millions and millions of trees that have grown across the vast land of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo is rich, also not with minerals on top, or trees on top, but minerals underneath. But this country finds itself day in, year out, in conflict. The conflict in Democratic Republic of Congo has never gone away since independence. The killing of Patrice Lumumba by the Belgians and the United Nations force plus America has put Congo to crossroads. The ghost of Patrice Lumumba seemed to haunt this nation. Those who killed Patrice Lumumba should have come out to say, yes, we did it, just as those who did to Bob Marley. It is sad, therefore, it is dangerous, therefore, for people in this world to watch. We had elections, Mobutu came and went. The rest of the leaders, Kabila came, the father was assassinated. Nobody has told us who and how this assassination occurred. It's a country full of contradictions, full of surprises, full of misery. A country that should be an example of Africa. But it is a country that is cursed. It is cursed in the sense that Congo itself cannot sustain its own economic activities, which should have been the case. If you look at what is happening today in Congo, since President Tshisekedi took over power, there has never been a concentration on what should be done to bring Congo out of DRC Congo, out of the quagmire it is in. Rebel activities, several rebel groups have taken camp, and they are there stationed in Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo also presents several indictees of ICC on the continent of Africa. Congo also presents several of human rights abuses, rape on women, rape by the United Nations forces that were stationed there without any trace of any justice delivered to them. It is therefore very crucial that as we discuss Africa, we must discuss Congo. As we talk about Africa, Democratic Republic of Congo, we must seek the way forward. Last year, or this year, wherever it is, early this year, we had an election. The French did not like the candidate. I am being candid because this week I am specializing on what kills Africa. From Monday, I've been discussing what kills Africa, what has destroyed Africa, what has made Africa look the way it is. Yet we have resources, yet we have people, yet we have brains, yet we are able to stand on our own and sell our goods and determine our destiny. But what destroys Africa? Who is behind the proxies that destroy Africa? Congo presents an example of what Africa is. What do we do? Why are we too lazy? Why are we so lazy that we allow people to divide us? Who is this who puts a knife on the things that hold people together in Democratic Republic of Congo until it breaks? Day in, day out. Kabila the son took over power from the father. Thanks very much the people of Zimbabwe And myself, I was in Zimbabwe when the big Kabila, my good friend that I met in Tanzania sometime, was assassinated. I was in Zimbabwe, and I want to take this opportunity to thank President Mugabe. May he live again longer. That Mugabe played a pivotal role in resolving the conflict and making Congo stay as it is without partitioning it. Many of you know very well Uganda, Rwanda have played a very big role in the confusion that is in Congo. The Uganda and the Rwanda still play a big role. They can play a big role in stabilization of Congo. But above all, there is a very important country or countries in Europe that have divided this country. That includes United States of America. They join the hands. They make sure that the person they want to lead the country is the man who can they support. This year, Congo held an election. This year, AU observers were sent into Democratic Republic of Congo to observe elections. What is the use of AU observers to observe elections? To verify, quantify, qualify an election. Why then did the African Union fail to recognize the democratically elected government or President Tshisekedi? Why then did we embargo all countries in Africa not to go for the swearing ceremony? Who was behind the mess that we saw that it was only President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and only him and only President Kenyatta that who arrived in Democratic Republic of Congo to witness the swearing in ceremony? The factors, as I said, one of them is French and the Belgians. Remember, we did a proxy war on Tuesday. Is there a proxy war in Africa? Do big countries in Africa, to elements, opposition elements in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Congo, do they play a proxy war? Do they fight on behalf of somebody? Yes. Opposition leaders in Congo fight on behalf of somebody. They did. It was shown by the absence of international community and the condemnation of an election that had been observed by people who went and who were mandated by the United Nations and then the African Union to go and observe this election in Congo. Can somebody tell me why, after mandating observers and the monitors for an election, why would you refuse African countries to go to the swearing ceremony? It's because the African Union works on a proxy basis. The African Union Commission, whose chairman is Mohamed Faki, works on the instructions from outside the continent to dismember Congo. People don't like Kabila. They did not like Kabila. Kabila went out. Kabila gave power. But Kabila, again, I'm coming to that phase. Kabila and his friend Tshisekedi, since they shared the power peacefully and said, I will hand over power to you, you've won the election. Since then, there has been a stalemate. Who is causing the stalemate? Who is making Congo not to work? Who is making Congo not to move forward? Are there external forces, darker forces, that have killed this country since Patrice Lumumba disappeared? Are there people in this country who want Congo to remain as it is, with divisions, with armed men, heavily armed, men who topple governments, men who rape women, men who kill as they want? Why? Who has brought this curse on Congo? The answer goes back to the same people who make Congo. Today, the former President Kabila handed over power to President Tshisekedi. But he has stayed remote controlling this government that the government can't function. He has remained in the back seat, arm twisting the same government that he wanted to give a ye go. Kabila is my great friend. I sat down in a tree in the State House in 2008. As I speak now, he knows me. Maybe let me take off these glasses so that I did not have glasses by then. We sat down, myself, Dr. Yakamacha, himself, and another official, General Deng from South Sudan. We were doing the Uganda peace process by then, of which I was the chief mediator and the chief negotiator on behalf of the people who could not come to table. I sat down, I looked at President Kabila. He knows me, I know him. I want to ask one question, Your Excellency. You have given power and a mandate to Tshisekedi. You have allowed President Tshisekedi to rule, to manage, to engage, to uplift the standards of the people of Congo. Why is it that you are remote controlling? Your actions show remote control systems that are making Congo not progress. I have nothing to hide here. I have to say the truth so that it sets me free. The difficulties of Democratic Republic of Congo are difficulties created by the leaders themselves. Apart from external interference by America picking on a few individuals, putting sanctions on individuals instead of containment of individuals. Part of the problems of our external forces and enemies is that they don't understand geopolitical situations of Africa. They come and heap sanctions on a country, destroy it. Look at what they have done in Zimbabwe. They killed Zimbabwe. Today they are running helplessly around the world on how to salvage a situation, to salvage a situation in Zimbabwe. They have no clue that sanctions can hurt, whether targeted or otherwise. They hurt the natives. If people who deliver the results, who bring the results, who bring the services of the people of Congo are targeted, they will not deliver to the local people. Sanctions in Africa don't hurt the leaders. Sanctions in Africa hurt the masses, whether targeted or overall economic sanctions. Because the leaders in Africa fetch these services outside Africa. So if you put sanctions on a number of people and block a country, hate one section of people, like the way we are hating people in Zimbabwe today, one section of the Zimbabwean people are hated and the one section is praised. You divide the country. Exactly, the sanctions in Congo have divided the people of Congo, have reduced them. The few who are put on sanction list not to travel to United States of America are leaders of Congo. But why are sanctions? Why is it that Kabila and Tshisekedi are not working together? What makes them not work together? Is there something that is keeping them a distance from each other? Are there people who are beneficiaries of that not working together? Who is suffering as a result of the President Tshisekedi not working with the former President Kabila and then trying to create some form of friction and factions within the system? It is sad, therefore, that as we sit here as Africans, we have very many regime changes on the continent. The situation in Libya teaches us quite a lot of painful examples. Painful examples in that if you see the Libya that had medicines, if you see the Libya that had schools, if you see the Libya that had roads, if you see the Libya that was paying for its social welfare, if you see the students who Gaddafi, the late Gaddafi was paying everybody who comes out $5,000 to be able to start a life, and the Libya today is reduced to rubble, one must stop any other country in Africa from going the Libyan way. The insurgency in Congo, especially in Eastern Congo, is supported, equipped, supplied by the enemies of Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo has insurgency dotted all over the eastern part of Congo. When will these countries get out of Congo? When will they leave Congo to mine their own minerals, to be able to put them on a stock exchange and sell them without interference? Why should we as Africans have refugees flowing into our countries? Because external darker forces of countries like Belgium, France, America, and other Western countries, companies that are very much embedded in the Congolese economy, plugging, eating, plundering the resources of Congo. Why would we as neighbors of Congo suffer the influx of refugees? Yet these countries are well known, and some are members of the United Nations Security Council. They create a problem in Congo. They leave us in Congo. They leave us suffering with the refugees. They go to the Security Council to put sanctions on people. What a shame. What a shame. Africa needs to remain united. Africa needs to look at what next can be done about Congo. President Tshisekedi is the elected leader of Congo that the Supreme Court has now put in place. After all this, the Supreme Court now said elections were conducted. The election was free. It might not have been free, because I want to tell people the truth. There is no free and fair election in Africa. There are people who want to tell lies here. The way you show me one free and fair election is in Africa, only in South Africa, because it is only South Africa after elections that they don't fight. But the rest of African countries, whether Nigeria, whether Uganda, whether Congo, whether Rwanda, whether what, they fight. There is no African country that does not fight in an election. There is no African country that does not complain. No African country whose opposition does not complain about a rigged election. Show me one, apart from South Africa. Because we have got our methods wrong. Congo needs a method. We must change electoral injustice in Congo. We must change what is in Congo to stabilize Congo. Part of the problems of Congo, why leaders stick on power, is the electoral injustice system is wrong, is warped. It is warped in a sense that it doesn't favor all proportional representation of the people of Congo. The people of Congo deserve a free and fair and proportional elections on proportional basis. The type of elections that we conduct is one factor that destabilizes Congo. That's one. The second factor that destabilizes Congo is France. The French want a puppet they can whip, a puppet they can clean, a puppet who cleans their feet, a puppet who harasses the natives on their behalf. Look across in Bangui. What is happening in the Central African Republic? What is happening in Central African Republic? A neighbor of DRC Congo. A constant war. When will Africa stand up to talk about the injustices committed by one superpower in Europe that has moved to destabilize the entire Africa? Time has come for Africa to stand up. Time has come for Africa to speak up. Time has come for Congolese to speak up. A country cannot keep on destabilizing. Since 1961, France has destabilized Congo. Mobutu killed and killed and killed, and we went to die in France. Why do we keep quiet? Why is this? Are we silent? Why have we been captured? Why is this spread of violence? Point number 3. The regional powers that surround Congo, Uganda, Rwanda, and others must change their behavior towards Congo. For Congo to be free and fair and have a free and fair election. For Congo to have no indictees in the ICC, as it has the biggest number of ICC indictees. I've fought against ICC. For those who don't know me, I fought for the release of Bemba. I have never gone to Bemba to ask him for my pay. I am Dr. Matanga, who played a role, spoke heavily about the unfairness of Bemba's case. Bemba's case was politically motivated, politically charged. You can't charge Bemba and you fail to charge the president of Central African Republic, who invited Bemba into the Central African Republic. That was wrong. And I will still maintain Bemba was innocent. His troops committed crimes. It is not him. We should have charged the president of Central African Republic, who called for help, so that we balance the equation as we did charge Serbia and Serbians and then others of Bosnia. We charged both. Kosovo, Albanians, we took all of them to court. Why did we choose to take on the Bemba and refuse President Bozize or the other man who called Bemba to help him to suppress a military coup? We erred. The international community, therefore, must be aware of the actions. The regional powers, therefore, must be aware of the actions. What is it that they want in a stable Central Africa? Do we need constant fights? Do we need killings? Do we need export of our human resources? Do we need resources exploited at the expense of Africans who have no roads, who have no transport, who have no medicine, who have no infrastructure to reach even their own president? It is surprising, therefore, that there are some people in Congo who don't know that Mobutu left power. The degree of poverty has gone so deep that there are people who still think Mobutu is in power. The country has been denied the level of development because it has been in constant perennial wars that have killed half of the GDP of Congo. Half of the GDP and its own is taken away. The people take it, they use it, they eat, they build houses, they stock it in Paris, they stock it in Belgium, they come back and tell us there is no money. One of the problems that I discovered with His Excellency President Kabila, and I think now he's no longer the president, we can have a joke. President Kabila called on the international community to help Congo to run an election for $2.8 billion. Surely, an African seated anywhere, you think Congo lacks $2.8 billion to run an election? I leave that question to you. My main focus lastly, is the wealth that Congo has. What do we do to stop the rebels? What do we do? Which way forward for Congo? What can Congo do better in absence of international community coming in to lobby for minerals? What can Congo do and what can AU do to stabilize Congo? An African problem for African solutions with African problems. We have that motto, a renaissance of African problems and solutions for African problems. Can Africa today unite to take out Congo? Can we, many of us in the media, start highlighting the difficulties of Congo? Democratic Republic of Congo, all what you hear is Ebola. All what you hear, all AIDS started in Congo. Why is it that everybody has put Congo as an experimental ground for this type of diseases? Why is it AIDS started in Congo? Ebola is in Congo. Is there something that we researchers can tell me as to why Congo produces always bad image? Ebola, HIV AIDS associated with the Congo. Why? Is there someone who has gazetted Congo to be a product, a manufacturing ground for disease? Are there imperialists working to make sure that Congo always is in the headline for the bad things? These are questions for Congolese, and I ask them on behalf of Africans too. Africans ask these questions not because they have no solutions. We ask these questions because we need answers. The leadership of Congo itself must stand up for now and be counted. The leadership of Congo must be able to unite the people through efforts to expose the leaders. Kabila should leave Mr. Tshisekedi to start working. Time has come. My young man Kabila, I was a great friend of your father. But leave your friend to work. Give him the leeway to work. He's now a leader. You agreed, but Congo must move. To stay all these months without seeing which way is hurting the economy of Congo, is hurting the citizens of Congo. We don't rule for the forest. We are not ruling trees. You are ruling people, governing the people. The people need the services today. Africa needs to change. African countries that have armies or ambition to create rebel activities in Congo should stop. The African countries whose armies are hungry for fight, why can't we utilize all this anger for fight, and we go and fight Boko Haram in Nigeria? Why can't we put these resources and go and fight Al-Shabaab in Somalia? Why are we itching where every day our hands, our heads, our stomachs to go and fight and create rebels in Congo? The Congo that we know seem to be multiplying into several facets of destruction. The Congo that we want seem to be day by day still pulling back instead of pushing forward. Time has come to stay out of Congo. The geopolitical situation of Congo puts us into a very terrible tight corner in catch 22. It is the center of Africa, the heart of Africa. the nerve center of all operations. But God has again endowed it with very many other things which are beneficial to the world and where you can only get them in Congo. That's another factor destabilizing Congo. Most of the minerals that are needed to manufacture telephones, to manufacture things, are found in Congo. Therefore, it keeps Congo on all the time a fighting mood, a country that has crisis upon crisis. Remember, mercantile capitalism only thrives where there is conflict. There is nowhere where mercantile capitalism can thrive when there is no conflict. You first create a conflict, then talk about mercantile capitalism. If you want to create mercantile capitalism, create a conflict. That is what is happening in Congo. They create a conflict. They send United Nations peacekeepers. Then they start looting. While we sleep and watch the UN, blue, men dressed in UN uniforms, we see the looting goes on. That is how the tragedy of Africa and the Congo is. The way forward. The conflicts of Congo must come to an end for Congo to stabilize. The conflicts of Congo must come to an end. The sanctions against the people labeled by United States must be dropped. There are people who are wrongly put on sanction list, but these are leaders who deliver the services that are needed. Point number 2, former President Kabila should let it go. Leave Tshisekedi to run the government. You agreed to be together. You agreed to allow you have the majority of the voters who voted for your party. But now Congo needs to move because you have one leader. Can you allow him to exercise his right as a leader and lead this country towards prosperity? 3, France, Belgium, and the United States should first review their policy on Congo. The confusion France has caused since elections, the double standards that they talk about elections and support the opposition to create an insurgency, to a civilian insurgency through demonstrations and other things should end. The urge for regime change, like what they are doing in Zimbabwe, must stop. The leaders of opposition who took part in an election and they lost, and the Supreme Court has made a ruling, should wait for another 5 years. They should reorganize their places, reorganize their positions, and go again when it comes to 5 years or whatever timetable the people of Congo decide when to lead, to rule, to get new leaders to lead them into another 5-year term. Street demonstrations, regime change mechanism of George Soros and Americans does not help Congo today. I therefore submit the way forward for Congo is unity and a national dialogue. Unity and a redemption. Redemption strategy is to put all the leaders to create a proportional representation politics. The politics of elections of proportional representation, such that we don't have rebels multiplying on a daily basis. Each leader, each clan leader goes back, calls upon his people to come and stand for him, with him, because an election was robbed. That must end. Congo must change. Congo is a good example of Africa being a rich continent. But we have not utilized the resources of Congo effectively without any hitches. we have lost a war in Congo. An economic hazardous political situation still runs around Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are. But before I go, I need to read some of the points and the comments that have been made by very many people who have actually discussed this issue of Congo. I'll read this as I leave. Mr. Aku Abata says, Biafra is the only solution for Africans to be good again. All hail Biafra, Mr. Charles Edison Charles. Africa, no freedom, Africa, new laws today. El Kata Uno, the Congo is the geopolitical heart of Africa. She has 9 borders and she has minerals and which are very rich in terms of economy and so on. Ababe Ayama, on the low power police change today, Africa needs work. I love your shows. Thank you very much. Why do you block people who have different... I have not blocked anybody. We only block people who talk badly and who want to insult other people. Otherwise, I'm one person who has endured. I have 7 lives to endure the insults that come out. It is a pity, Mr. Ufa Noxin Hogan. El Kata Uno said, there is only one solution. In talking about Pan-Africanism and African unity, we must take a note from the Chinese with their one China doctrine. And the one China doctrine and their stance on it in Taiwan and Tibet. The Europeans and turncoats Africans should be forced to understand that their meddling in the Congo geopolitical politics of Africa is an act of war and will be treated as such. Tony Ching Bate, whoever gave this guy a platform should be punished. He doesn't have all facts and keeps on. I think you have the worst brain since you don't understand, because I've talked about imperialism, I've talked about Congo. And if you have any other idea, please suggest. Don't condemn even a poor workman who has dug halfway. You increase us by suggesting. You have not suggested anything. You are instead yapping, and you are one of those surrogates who lick the lips of imperialism and create Africa to be laughed at on a daily basis. El Kata Uno, thank you, Matanga. That's a brilliant point. I want to thank all of you, and I want to thank everybody who has been part and parcel of this situation to say Congo stays, Congo sticks, Congo manages its affairs. Let's leave Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. And before I go, I want to thank President Museveni, President Kagame, President Nguesso, and the President of Angola for calling this meeting, and the President Tshisekedi for taking part in the meeting that is taking place in Luanda, Angola today and tomorrow, to find out a solution. What is wrong between Uganda and Rwanda? We have been brothers and sisters. Rwandese lived in our country. They have been in our country. We don't know the differences that have brought about the closure of the border between Rwanda and Uganda. We would like to find out why these two countries, African countries, we have the same language, we talk the same, we eat the same food. Why is there a problem of hostility between Rwanda and Uganda? I want to thank the presidents who have taken the initiative to seek an African solution to this impasse that has made many of us, many business people, lose a lot of money trying to export goods to Congo. It is sad, therefore, that given all these circumstances that surround us, that hip us, that engage us, Congo remains as the pinnacle of all the problems that are in Rwanda and Uganda. The problem is around there also. So when you talk about Congo and you talk about Uganda and Rwanda, at a certain stage, you'll end up that these countries might disagree, but they agree on what to do about Congo. So it is very good that Tshisekedi has gone to Rwanda in Angola to discuss, to find out what exactly ails the two neighbors that they keep on fighting on a daily basis. With those few words, I want to encourage you that the program will be on. That's my opinion. You can have your own opinion, but I want to be very frank that time has come for us to wake up. Time has come for us to tell the truth. Kabila left power. He should leave Tshisekedi to work. There is no need of fighting Tshisekedi from a remote control. That is not what it means by peaceful transfer of power from him to another generation. Thank you very much. This station is for Africa, by Africa, with Africa. Ciao.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.